Welcome back everybody. Today we're gonna play Gekko on Sunset. Today is day 119 of playing every agent on every map. Today's agent Gekko is one of the most played agent, or it used to be one of the most played agents in the game. He is a really fun initiator. You can play him pretty well for yourself and also for your team. He kind of sucks at setting up a fast duelist, for example a Raze or a Neon, but most of the times you're gonna be fine with a Gekko. He also provides a lot of information for his team on defense and also on attack. And his ability to go for a diffuse or a plant in almost any situation is insanely strong, and I think just for that reason Gekko needs to be picked more. Starting off with A-side defense. On A-side defense you can get information over a main by just simply standing right here at around this pillar, making sure you are lined up correctly, looking all the way up, and then you can just flash up. With a flash like this, you get information over anyone playing in a main. If they are trying to go up here, they either have to break your flash or they're gonna get hit by it, so you have the information over anyone coming up. Other than that, you can then just reclaim your dizzy and do that again if you don't have any information over main. In general, it is pretty good. Sometimes the enemies decide to dodge it, then you can just go for some trickle peeks right here, get information over the people that are trying to come through a main. What you can also do is to play aggressive with your team on a main. You can do that by throwing a flash through here, just aim it around the window and throw it. It will flash anyone that is trying to play in this close area right here, and it also comes from a pretty unexpected angle. The other option for a flash that does pretty much the same, but it is harder to pick up again after, is a flash from here elbow through this window right here. It will flash at people even if it doesn't go through, and it is a pretty unexpected angle, and then you can just reclaim your dizzy right here. Or if it goes through the window, it will land in main and you can reclaim it back there. Both options are possible if you want to take the A main space, but then you need to have somebody with you that takes the A main space with you. This is also pretty good if you're close to your ult, so you can just go grab this ult orb after you have your duelists coming into main with your flash, and then you can take them A main space pretty easily. What you can also do is, if you're not sure if there is somebody going for main and you don't have a teammate holding for you, you can just use a wingman like that. Take the orb. If anyone then peeks into a main, you can then they're gonna get stunned by the wingman and you can easily kill them. Or they have to shoot the wingman first or try to shoot you. Either way, they're gonna be distracted and you're gonna have a easier time killing them. And then you can just take the main space again with a flash, retake your wingman, go fight the enemies, and in general it is a pretty simple way to take the main control with a Gekko. For ults in general, I don't really recommend you use your ult to take a aggressive space. I recommend you take it on a retake. For example, if you want to ult on A, you can use your ult from here, clear out certain spots, just jump around, make it hard for the enemies to hit, and clear out the side like this. Or you can use your ult, for example, if you want to go for a diffuse, you send your wingman on top of the spike, and then you ult, and ult at anyone that is trying to go for a diffuse. This is a pretty strong combination, and in general it will net you rounds pretty easily. Switching over towards mid. On mid you can do something similar. You can get yourself right here, line up, flash straight up, flash the people that are in mid, and in general like that you can get information over people that are in mid, even if you don't have a, if they have a smoke right here and you don't have any information over mid like that. What you can do if you want to take mid space aggressively is to throw a mosh right here. Hold it first because it takes some time to get over there, and then use a dizzy flash over here, maybe even combined with a wingman. By the way, wingman and dizzy together is a pretty strong flash or combo, because it is pretty hard to shoot both of them. Wingman has pretty much HP, so you need to shoot them at least twice, and then dizzy as well. So you can then peek out around the corner by throwing wingman first, like this, dizzy. You have to shoot both of them, and then you can peek out. So they have to have 3 things they have to shoot at before they can shoot at you. Other than that, you can also play mid right here in the market area. You can stop the enemies from coming in by throwing a mosh pit right there. Also wingman, you can either throw him like this. Like this, it is gonna be pretty hard for him to for you to reclaim him. Or you can just throw him a little more passively with throwing him just like this. He will walk around in this close area right here and will stop anyone from coming in, and then you can just go back here, reclaim the wingman, go back. What you can also use is a flash, either like this or like this, and then peek out, or even like this, This flash isn't the greatest, however, because again it is pretty high and it can get shot pretty easily. If the enemies are coming B, you can use the wingman and flash combo at the same time as well. If you know, for example, they're going for a plant right here, you can go into the smoke here, flash out like this, even throw a molly to stop them from planting, even throw a molly in the back to stop them from planting. In general, using Gekko's kit to stop a plant is pretty good, or go for a retake with all of his kit, because again, you can put a lot of pressure on the enemies with a wingman going for the diffuse, and especially with a flash, it makes it pretty hard to shoot. And if you can like get the wingman on top of the spike, they have to use some util, for example, killjoy mollies or Sova shock darts, and you can then easily find out where the enemies are at, and you can fight them pretty easily. For an ult, I recommend you use it from right here in market. You have to worry about mid, however, or from spawn. And then you can check out the close corners, check all of the close corners, and then even maybe check backside. With a ult like this, you have cleared out almost all of the site, and your ult is in a pretty safe spot. You can take the ult again. You can then use the second charge to ult down main and jump on anyone you see. You can also do that, by the way, if you are going towards the side. You can also stop the enemies from coming in while you're going for the defuse with a mosh pit like this. This combined with a smoke is a pretty strong thing, because it stops the enemies from coming into the smoke, and it makes it so you have more time to go for the diffuse. Switching over towards attack, and we're starting off with A side again. You can use a flash like this to get anyone that is playing aggressively on a main right here. With just a simple dizzy flash like this, you're gonna flash anyone that is close there. This flash is pretty good if you want to take slow space on a main. If you want to take faster space on A main, I recommend you actually flash elbow, and you have your teammates using util for A main here. You can flash elbow by just throwing your dizzy like this, running, aiming at the lower window, and then jumping up and throwing it. It will land right here in the elbow space, easily for you to retake. And even if there is somebody and that somebody gets detected, you can just use your wingman to clear out this area as well. Your wingman is pretty strong, especially in close ranges, so you can use that to get your space again here on elbow, and you can retake both of them. Then for the side take, I recommend a flash like this over the site. It will flash anyone that is on site, and then also makes it pretty easy for you to be able to reclaim your dizzy flash, and you can then use a molly towards CT, or use a molly towards backside, whatever you have information on where the enemies are at. And then you can go for a plant. On the plants later more, I'm going to show you the best plants on this map, but that will be a later part of this video. If you want to take the main space from here, you can use a flash like this, just over here, or use even a wingman like this to take the close space right here. And then you can use mollies to stop the enemies from pushing out of CT. Same thing, you can also use, again, the molly for backside. If you want to ult, you can have two different options. Ulting from back here is usually not a bad idea. You can then clear out elbow, like this, and jump on anyone you see. If you don't see anyone, you can just go back and reclaim your ult. After you have reclaimed your ult, you can then use it to clear out site, check out backside, and then even check out spawn. And whenever you see somebody, you just jump. You can also call that information to your teammates, so they can like profit off of the space you made with your trash. Other than that, you can also use him for main. If you have used the first one to clear out this area, you can use him from here. Use him to clear out either site, or even further towards CT. And clear out the site like this. Switching over towards mid. And on mid, I'll actually recommend you go over from this side, because from here you can flash with a dizzy like this. Flash in towards mid, make it pretty hard for the enemies to shoot it. You have to kind of worry about that you don't throw it up here. But most of the times this flash is pretty good to take the mid space. What you can also do is to just flash up straight. So if you're standing up here, use a flash like this to get information over mid. You will flash anyone that is trying to come out mid right here. And in general, this is a pretty good flash to use if you want to claim the mid space. Once you have taken mid, you can use your kit pretty well to take market area. After you have broken this wall, you can throw in your wingman and then you flash. Combined like this, it makes it pretty hard for the enemies to hold the market space, and then you can easily reclaim both of them because you are here in a pretty safe spot. You can then decide to either go over towards the B side and go for a plant, or even push towards CT. Another really cool thing you can do on the B side is to throw a flash through this area right here in market. You can throw a flash like that. it will flash backside and will flash anyone that is playing on the backside area, and will also flash the people that are trying to hold you from here, because it makes it pretty hard for them to shoot this flash. Even if they look over, you can then peek in main, and that makes it pretty hard for them to hold the space on site, and it is in general pretty strong. What you can also do, and I showed it to you on the Clove video and also on the Omen video, you can smoke top mid, and then you can go out of this smoke, or firstly go in this smoke, and then flash out with a dizzy like this. You could just throw your dizzy out like this, it will flash anyone that is playing close here, and that's in general pretty strong. And even if the enemies destroy the dizzy right away, their crosshair placement is going to be really bad, and you could just peek out and get a free kill on them. You can even pre-fire them through the smoke based on the shots you hear. What you can also do is, for example, if you decide to smoke here and go over towards B, you can use a mosh right here to stop the enemies from pushing out this area. Same thing also with the other side, to stop the enemies from pushing this area, and then you can go over towards A. Now going over towards B, on B you can use something pretty similar to the Cypher Cam in this window right here, to stop the enemies from pushing main by just running and throwing a flash like this. This flash is not the greatest one, you can also throw it from here by the way. But most of the time you're not really gonna need it. But if you want to go B in a pretty fast way and you want to make sure nobody's peeking you aggressively, and the enemies, especially if they have an AWP or an outlaw, this flash can be really worth it. You are not gonna have the flash for the side take then, but especially if you have an ult, this is really worth, because then you can go for an ult, clear out the site, clear out all of the close corners, maybe even clear out market, and then you can go for a plant with the wingman. Bonus segment! And now getting over to our bonus segment, a big part of Gekko's kit is the wingman, and wingman can plant and defuse the spike in pretty easy ways. For that, you need to know where you have to place the spike to have the most value out of it. On A site, there's a lot of different spots where you can plant. Firstly, we have default. Default is right here, or on backside right here. Both of those are kind of called default. This plant spot is, in my opinion, better because it is more open towards elbow, for example, and over towards main also. But it isn't the greatest in general. If you plant right here in this corner, you're gonna have an easy time fighting from elbow. But if you are in main, there's not really an easy time getting people off of the spike. Then to the backside plant, right here, this plant is really bad. If you have to go for this plant, it is a pretty safe plant, I know, but if you have to go for this plant, it is worth most of the time fighting for a better plant, especially on a Gekko, because you can fight the enemies while you are planting, so planting right here in this corner is a better choice. If you have to sight fully to yourself, I'd actually recommend you go plant right here in this spot. This spot is probably the best plant spot on this map, because you can spam it from elbow, you can spam it from main, and you can also spam it from spawn. So if you have this space and the spike is planted right there, even if they go for a defuse, you can still spam them through the smoke, or even if they go behind the boxes, you have an easy time spamming them. Same thing also from main. I know from main it kind of sucks to spam this spot, but you can still spam the enemies that are trying to go for a defuse behind it. And now over to one of the best spots actually on this map, but I don't think it is better than the one I showed you before. It is this spot right here on the opposite side of these boxes. It is open towards CT, it is open towards main, it is kind of open towards elbow, but that's the thing why I think it is only the second best spot. It is not the best to play from elbow, and elbow is a pretty common post-plant spot. So if you go for a plant right here, I recommend you have space in CT and space in main. And now switching over towards B. On B, it is actually pretty interesting. B side used to be a spam fiesta. Most of the times you're just gonna go for a plant at around right here, and then you just spam till you don't have any bullets left, or till either of the team has died. So I still think this plant spot here is probably one of the best, because you can again spam it, but it is not quite as good as it used to be. Because it is kind of hidden from all other angles except for main, it is a pretty safe planting spot. But you have to kind of worry that you have the space in main and that you can't really get pushed. And without being able to mark anymore, it's gonna make it a lot harder. What is really good about this planting spot right here is that you can throw mollies pretty easily on it. You don't even really have to aim, just throw it at around this area and you will do a lot of damage on the people that are trying to go for the defuse. The default planting spot right here is a decent planting spot. It is not the best, but in general, if you can go for a plant right here, you are gonna be fine. Just remember to place it all the way in the corner so there's less space for the enemies to go for the defuse. If you place it a little over towards this side, there's more space for the enemies to go for the defuse, and it makes it harder for you to spam, but it is also a little bit more open towards the rest of the players. And now to another plant spot that is not the worst, actually. It is this plant spot here on backside, but you need to space here in spawn and boba. This is a plant spot I recommend if you decide to go for a mid split through top mid and B market, because the area right here is pretty easily to defend from spawn. You can have one person holding this area, you can have one person holding this area right here, and you can have all of the information over people trying to go towards the B backside. And in general, this plant spot here is not the worst, but you need to have your team in this area as well. If you don't have your team in this area, it is not worth planting backside. If I had to give Gekko a rating from S to F, I'd actually give him the A tier. He is pretty decent at doing his job. He also gives his team a lot of information on defense, and you can use him pretty well on attack as well. His molly is really big. It makes it really strong to clear out certain areas and to stop the enemies from pushing. And also his ability to go for a diffuse and a plant pretty easily is insanely strong. And combined that with good plans and good communication within the team, it makes it really strong to play a Gekko on this map. And especially if you have another initiator on your team, a Gekko can be really strong. That would be it from me. If you want to see any other agent on any other map, write them down in the comments. And if you want to see anything else Valorant related, write it down there as well. And as always, don't forget to like and sub, and come say hi to me on Twitch, where I stream almost daily. Have a great rest of your day, and see you guys very soon. Bye!